Hello and welcome to All About Sport. I am here at the Slieve Russell Hotel for the GAA Congress 2015. We will be meeting some of the delegates here at the GAA Congress 2015.
We can vote on.
This term is over. First of all, I would like on behalf of Central Council to thank Matt Shaw for his work as DRA Secretary. Under rule, the Secretary of the DRA shall be appointed by Congress on the nomination of Central Council. And Central Council today is putting before Congress as a nominee for the position of Secretary of the DRA, Professor Jack Anderson of Queen's University in Belfast. Jack Anderson is a native of Doon, County Limerick. He's a member of the Breda GAA Club in Belfast. As I said, he's Professor of Law in Queen's. He's also external examiner in law at UCD and at the University of Westminster. He's written frequently in various sport law journals, including International Sports Law Journal and International Sports Law Review. And we feel he's an eminent person to take over the role as Secretary of the DRA. So the Central Council is putting his nomination before you, and we'd ask for a proposer, a seconder, and a hand vote on that nomination.
Mr. Burke, I wish to formally propose that Professor Jack Anderson as Rooney of the DRA.
Martin McGibbon, Mr. Banstein, on the second vote.
Just take a quick hand vote on that order of law. All those in favour? Great, come out. Big majority. Okay, project on Norman Tucker. Well, unfortunately, for Con Yareen, Gwilda, Aogan, Person, Aogan, Wincher, Drum, Owen, Gero, August unfortunate especially to the Cordav, Namunchori, August Ron, Aogan, Oster, Nakisha, Fortune over Frog, with the Inokai, Winter Mission Cordial, we're going to need Dina, we're going to need Stanley, and we're going to cap well, we're all push, Ahish, August and Nora Dumsa, and Bound and Oakron, the Brunette, or Oakron, Nua, come Lucas, Aogan O'Farrell, Cordial, I heard that question, Referee Reilly, very ready.
It is my great pleasure to congratulate our new Uachtaráin, Aogan O'Farrell. Your installation as Uachtaráin is a great honour for you, your family, club and county. Your love for the GAA and all things Gaelic was nurtured in you firstly by your parents, and I'm delighted to welcome Kate and Aidan here this evening, and I'm sure they are extremely and justifiably very proud of you. This love for all things GAA was secondly nurtured by your club, Drumgoon Aeroog. You served your club both as a player and a coach, but it was as an administrator that you displayed the qualities that brought you to this very special day. You represented your club as county board delegate from a very young age, and your first administrative role at county board level was as secretary of the 1984 Centenary Committee under the chairmanship of the former Ulster Council President, the late Father Dan Gillogly. You later went on to serve Cavan County Board as Irish officer and as also Ulster Council rep. You have held every major officership at Corlawla, all with distinction, namely PRO, Treasurer, Vice President and President. Your professionalism and leadership qualities, along with the wealth of experience gained from each officership, made you an obvious choice to become Uachtaráin. You are an excellent historian, orator, man of vision, and you will be a brilliant ambassador for our association. You recently remarked to me that when your term as Uachtaráin was completed, nothing would give you greater pleasure than to return to Drumgoon Aeroog and coach the under-12 team. This love of place of birth and the grassroots of our association assures me that you will be Uachtaráin Speisialta. Finally, I assure you of the continued support of everybody associated with Cavan GAA. I wish you every good luck and health during your term in office as Uachtaráin come on a new class scale.
Uachtaráin coming up as Gael, your Uachtaráin, Archduke, in special as Corrigan. Just before making my remarks in relation to Aogan, could I take this opportunity on behalf of all GAA and Ulster to say a special thanks to Aogan for giving so much of your valuable time in your visit to our province, and especially for the leadership shown by you during your term for a while again. On behalf of Ulster GAA, I wish to congratulate Aogan on becoming Uachtaráin criminal class Gael. My best description of Aogan would be that he is a proud Irishman who has shared his passion for all things Irish, not only as a primary school teacher, but also within every role that he has held within criminal class Gael. He is also a keen historian, and he's also shared that passion with us as well, and now becomes part of the history of this proud county of Cavan in becoming the first Cavan Uachtaráin of criminal class Gael. I congratulate Christy Quigley on Cavan and his Drumgoon Aeroog. I know that you will share in this honour to have Aogan as the president of our association. And I think I should also mention the pupils and teachers of the school that Aogan is so proud of, his national primary school, and some of them are here with us today as well. To Aogan's family, and we were joined by 3 generations. I think I've said at least 3 generations of the family who have joined us, and it's lovely to see everybody here. But especially to his wife Frances, to Niamh, Triana, Aogan O, Agus Conal, to his mother and father, and to his entire family. This is a proud day for you all, and I wish for you all the good health to enjoy Aogan's term as President of our great association. And I look forward to supporting and sharing this journey with you, Aogan, as Uachtaráin, coming out last year. For my own.
Your attention for Uachtaráin nua coming out last year.
Archstewart O'Farrell, Uachtaráin Liam, Uachtaráin Valère, atá Sias an sin, Archstewart or Liam, agus a Carcha Gaelic. It does bar a while of a week as a cornu, the wheel coming out last game. Wheel atá in a holy cheer shop, agus wheel atá in a holy or from the grunna. Come fear of week deal, fear of week, as an honor war, a hug shift done. Wheel mehin as common Drungoon era oak, far as Cavan, agus also Gormisha and Chéad Uachtaráin as Cush de Brefni as on Sunday show. Also on Fosta will Maflan in Illigigo. Mavankera Francis, Marin and Niamh, Triana, Aogan O, agus Conal, agus Kahari agus Gespecialta, Mawamas Mayad, Aiden agus Katie, atá Fosbio, agus Wilsh Vidig an Shed. I am conscious that I stand in a very special position, and as I look behind me, I see John Joe O'Reilly looking down on me, holding the Sam Maguire Cup, and beside him, Hughie O'Reilly of Cootill. I'm conscious of that proud heritage that is in this county of Cavan, and it is wonderful that we are back here in this historic Ballyconnell on a special occasion, for not just for myself and my club, my school, my family, but for all of you in Commonwealth Lascale. I just barra o wekas a coronul no Liam O'Neill, agus a bhain céile Anya is a chlán. Is dinne faoi Liam. Mar dúirt Liam bhí wish the céile I got to Patrick Liam. We were friends together in St. Patrick's College many years ago, agus Donald and Hart is so in. We have remained closely together. Liam is a far Kenyalta, far Eramul, agus far Croga. Hí sé díobh I gcónaí do Commonwealth Lascale. His only ambition ever was to leave Commonwealth Lascale better than he found it, and he absolutely did that. We're I want to thank you for the opportunity, Central Council delegates and members, to have this historic Congress here in this part of Cavan. This is the home of the GAA, not only in Cavan but in Ulster. We're in the place where, in the shadow of Slieve Russell Mountain in 1885, a group of men gathered together and decided they would form a GAA club. Men like Thomas O'Reilly and Joel Alex Clancy, and they called their club the Ballyconnell Joe Biggers, in name of the very first nationalist MP ever elected in the province of Ulster. But they changed the name very quickly. A crowd of upstarts in East Cavan decided they were the first club. So the Ballyconnell boys changed their name and called themselves Ballyconnell First Ulsters. And I'm glad that tomorrow morning we will be going back to that pitch where Ballyconnell First Ulsters first played, and we will be unveiling a special plaque. So I'm glad and thank you for the opportunity to be back here in this special historic place that sustains all of us. It's over 131 years. And I just want to say in my first address to you, it is important for us always to reaffirm our values, the values that Cusack had when he was the driving force before at the foundation of Commonwealth Lascale. It's important that we stay rooted in communities that we absolutely cherish and and always do as Maurice Davin said, put the player at the centre of everything we do, and always inspire and raise our standards across everything we do. That was the motivation that drove Cusack, it was the motivation of his colleague Maurice Davin, and it should remain for us also. They founded an association at a very dark and difficult time in our history. It lifted us out of that depression, and it brought the Cummaluna scale right through 130 years to the present time. And it is no harm occasionally to be reaffirming those values once again. Family has always been important to me, and as I said already, my father and mother were born in 1924, and I'm very delighted that they're here with us. It's important to me, and it's important for everyone. But in saluting and acknowledge my parents, Aidan and Katie, and in the photograph you'll see me on my sister's knee. Unfortunately, she died a couple of years ago. But my brothers are all here, and I'm delighted that Tom, Declan, Shea, Brendan, Pollard has also joined us. But in thanking my parents and my family, I thank all the parents. All of you, like me, have been sustained by parents and grandparents who grew up in an Ireland of the 30s, when there was economic depression in the 40s and 50s, when there was 4 recessions, the 60s, when we got excited in the 60s, and then more recessions in the 70s and 80s. So I want to salute all the generations who went before us, your parents, your grandparents, as symbolised by my parents who are here today. Or am I out of them, and Lewin and Libby? Aogan, there are a mighty bunch, there are a few of them down there at the back. Are a small rural club outside of the town of Cootill. Handball was my first game in Modulon, and I played hurling with St Patrick's College in Drumcondra, football with Drumgoon, and I've been involved in my club ever since. That doesn't go away from you. You cannot ignore or ever forget that. So if people are still wondering of the style that the President will have, and to many of you I'm your new President that you would not know as well as you knew Liam, I simply want to put on record where I'm from, what I believe in, and that clubs are everything. My club had never won a competition at any level, junior, under 12, in anything. And then we started an underage programme back in the 1980s. We worked very, very hard, and we won the first ever title into our club in 1986 when we brought back a county title at under 12. But we kept at it and we worked it up. And then we won minor, and then eventually we won Cavan Junior in 2001, we won Cavan Intermediate in 2002, we won Ulster and All Ireland in 2001, and we won the Intermediate again in 2011. And now we are a senior club, and very proud of that. My club is the same as your club. As Joey does say, we're all big clubs. But as many others have said, some of us have more challenges than others. Some of us face different difficulties. But as long as we have families within our clubs, they sustain us, they keep us going, and they are always at the root and at the heart of everything we do. So whether we're playing handball or football or hurling, it is the local pitch. The pitch that we opened, you see on your screen, was opened by us back in 1982. And it's developing ever since. I said last year I was born behind a hill and lived behind a hill. Well, you can see it there in Cavan, and we have a lot of hills. But the GAA is what lifts us through very special times. And many of tomorrow when I finished in Ballyconn, I will be going back to my club to spend my first full day as Uachtaráin with my club. And it's something I want to make sure we bring very strongly back into Cummaluna Scale. We used to have a law and a club day, and I want to see from 2016 that that's brought back. And I want every club to make sure that you have one day where you celebrate everything about your club. You bring in your old players, your former players, you try out new sports, because the Archjuror was correct in his intervention earlier on a debate that we just heard. You should always consider the club in every single thing that we do and in every decision we make. It is central to our policy, and that will remain. The school has been mentioned, and my pupils are over there, and I want to thank the teachers for bringing them there. But just as I thank my parents as representatives of a different generation, I want to thank not just my own colleagues and my own pupils, all the teachers in Ireland who have really worked so hard and dedicated to build Cummaluna Scale at primary level, secondary level, third level, all across the country. Teachers have done so much to build, to promote our Gaelic games. And we should always, and I know you do, value them. It is important. I played Gaelic games in Derrykesh, also in St. Aidan's Comprehensive, and at St. Patrick's College in Drumcondra. And I echo what John Costello O'Haclia said last night. The heritage of St. Pat's from Condra is important to us. The GAA Club of Erin's Hope was back to 1888, and it's important that that is kept and sustained in the new role that is ahead for St. Patrick's College. So for all our children, right across the island of Ireland and right around the world, they should all be given a chance. Everyone deserves the right to get a hurl in their hand or a ball in their hand and to have a go and to play the game at whatever level they wish. And I want to continue, as on that same road that's been started, we're going right back to many of my predecessors, that every child deserves a chance to play Gaelic games. Everybody deserves that opportunity, and they deserve the right to be treated carefully and to be handled with respect, and make sure that your coaches are qualified, that they meet all the criteria laid down at both national level and within Common Class Gael level, because our children deserve to have the best possible coaches looking after them. Murderch Jerry Brady nor bhí sé cainteann sin an céad ról a bhí agamsa ar cuist de bhrefni ná bhí mé na bhifragach na Gaeilge agus dá an rá fuair mé nor a bhí mé óg sa Gaeilge dá sé ná mó hin agus bóid na mar anniu ní cead dúin agus ní ceart dúin ní nó an New Class Gael. Éon rud a dhéanamh dochar don teanga, ní amháin do pobal na Gaeilge ag nó do pobal na Gaeltachta. Agus í gcónaí cheasmhaid go dainge ar son na Gaeilge agus ar son muintear na Gaeltachta. Agus ní amháin go bhainfí sé sin le linn mar chréimhse ó Torontoachta, bhhaidlam go neartóí sé. Agus go bhaidfid ag déanamh gaciúireacht, gach taíocht a chóirt, muintear na Gaeltachta trí mórtais cosúil le mórtas eile Gaeltachta, agus tá éon sé ar bhí ar son na Gaeilge. We should always acknowledge and thank, and I know you did it many times today, not only our players and our volunteers, not only our players who do so much on the pitches of Ireland and across the world, but I've seen a very close hand this year as Uachtar Buffa. Our players do so much more than that. They also promote, in their own free time, they promote so many other causes, they promote so many other good issues of community level. They're constantly reaching out to help others, and our players at all levels in our association are the creme de la creme, and we should always be player-centred, and thank you very much to Imrory, Common Class Gael. Our players are wonderful. Referees and all volunteers are matter. We value them, they are key to our association. I've said it before and I'm tired of saying it. You might be tired of listening to it, but I keep saying it. Volunteers at the GAA, they give constantly, you do not take. You miss the Sunday dinners, you miss the family occasions, you miss many other issues and excitements in life that other people may go through. But people of the GAA, whether you're an administrator, a pitch marker, a line marker, a player, a referee, a linesman, a camogie player, it doesn't matter. Everybody in the GAA is special. We value our volunteers and we're going to continue supporting them. We're going to continue training for all our and support systems for all our clubs, for all our volunteers, so that they feel comfortable in the roles and comfortable in what they do. I'm glad it was mentioned earlier that games are at the heart of our association. We have a very complex association with so many aspects to it, but at the heart of it, we are about games. That is the central motion. And in games development, we have many challenges, but we will rise to them. Urbanisation is a huge issue. Small clubs working like Liam O'Neill's club with a membership of 49, and then huge clubs with memberships of 40, 50,000 maybe. We have clubs in Ireland with a bigger population than many of our counties. And that's a challenge for us, but it's a nice and exciting challenge, and we will rise to it. And it's something that I look forward to working on when I get into office. Our games, as I said, are at the heart of everything we do. And of course, games are about fixtures. And we took an important decision yesterday morning in Central Council, and I'm going to ensure, I mentioned it last year, fixtures are about the playing of games. We don't have a problem with fixtures, but we have a challenge. We have two major codes in hurling and football, and we're going to ask Central Council very soon, to discuss the whole area around fixtures, but next week when Pádraig Duffy and his staff get back into Croke Park, they're going to be reissuing out to all counties, our proposals, our blueprint, as we have laid down for an improvement on fixtures. But it is only that. It is a proposal. And there will be also a cover letter coming from the Archduror asking the counties to discuss it, debate it, and make proposals back. And with our new Fixtures Planning Committee, and with Management Committee and Central Council, we will work at it, but it is important that everybody will buy into it. We don't want to have another proposal where we have an alteration to our fixtures and some people feel they weren't consulted or they didn't agree to it. We want our provincial councils, our counties and everyone to improve the lot of our players so that our proposals will be for an improved and a more streamlined fixtures calendar. I believe it's possible and I believe it can happen. And moving very quickly, I mentioned our games. Gaelic football is a fast, physical, exciting sport. It attracts people in record numbers to our clubs in Ireland and around the world. In Canada, in the Toronto area, the schools in that area wanted a physical game that would suit their athletes. And they looked at many games, they chose Gaelic football. It was the most complete game they could find for developing body skills, also at safest. So now Gaelic football is coached in that whole Ontario region because it is such a wonderful sport. We've had a lot of debate this weekend and previous weekends about the rules of Gaelic football. We have agreed on them. It is time to play our games and enjoy them and stop beating ourselves up constantly that we have to change this and change other things. If change is needed, it will happen because we will have a standing committee on the playing rules. But I would urge you to enjoy Gaelic football for the wonderful spectacle that it is. Hurling is a warrior sport. There's no doubt about that. It is a sport triachta that goes right back to the times of Cuchulainn. In this area that we're in, we're told in the ancient sagas that Conall was the brother of Cuchulainn, and he defended this part of Ulster against the Connacht men and women when they came forward. But they defended them through a game of hurling. And poor old Conall, I think eventually when he died, he was buried just down the road from here, and we get the name Béla Conall or Ballyconall. So the roots of hurling go way back into the mists of antiquity. It is an incredible and a special game. And as I said, there's a magic attached to it. Isn't it amazing that our Hurling 2020 committee examined widely, studied it in depth, consulted with many people, and so few changes were proposed. So perfect almost is that wonderful sport. And some of those changes were made here, but once again, hurling is a game that every child, from Ballycastle in Antrim down to Ballyferriter in Kerry, they all deserve the opportunity to handle the hurl at whatever level he or she wishes to do it. And handball in this county of Cavan, it would be remiss not to mention it. It is a game for life. It is one of our core sports. Minorities deserve special attention. And I want to thank everybody who promotes handball in our clubs and to continue to do it. And it would be important that we are gathered in Cavan to acknowledge the greatest athlete, the greatest handballer, not just Ireland, but the world has ever seen. Paul Brady is an outstanding example of Irish athleticism at its best. Well done to you, Paul. Whether it's for recreation on the village green or at a high competitive level in Croke Park, rounders is another of our minority sports. Many of you played it in schools. It's important that we have all these on the menu, not just our football and our hurling, but that rounders also is there, and we will be ensuring that it's available hopefully through our Lawn and Club and various other programmes that we have. And the Oakron set in place a very important message to us in the GAA. That our family of Gaelic games is very important to us. 52% of the island of Ireland are female. It is important that we continue on the road of working together, working in close cooperation as a Gaelic games family, and that ladies football and camogie work closely with us in promoting games for all. I wanted this platform to also congratulate Tracy Kennedy in Cork for being elected as Vice Chairman of Cork County Board, and since we are in the province of Ulster, to acknowledge the first woman ever to lead a county. Congratulations to Roisin Jordan, first Cahira. The very first female chairman of a club is here with us today, Joy Hayes of Cootehill, who was elected chairman of our club almost 20 years ago. And I'm delighted to be able to tell you that my club, Drumgoon Éire, all 3 top officer spots, chairman, secretary and treasurer, are held by women. And that is an important advancement we need to continue on in the GAA. Many people enjoy our language, our dancing, our culture and various other aspects. There's room for everybody. Everybody matters. And particularly in relation to score, I want to see an increased participation. I'm not overly worried about whether you come first or second in your county final or your All-Ireland final. I think culture is much more about enjoying it, tasting it, blossoming culture. And we want to see more and more people participate and take part in it, and under the banner of score and the language, to just gently rot, just try and give it a go. It is important. But the GAA is built on our attachment to our own place, and that has been said repeatedly this weekend. The pride we have in our parish, that sense of place, it is hugely significant and important. As you drive throughout Ireland, you'll see in all kinds of little villages, little country areas that have been ravaged by either emigration or economic downturn. But the flags fly, and that love of their own patch is very important. We should always value it. The hedges of our first imaginings is how Seamus Healy described it. I believe that Cumbernauld Scale builds community, it builds character, and our games reveal it. And it is very important that we constantly keep that love of and attachment of our own place. And it doesn't really matter if your pitch is on an island off the west coast of Ireland, or if it's in Kuala Lumpur or the desert sands of Arabia, or it's in Croke Park. It is all the same community of GAA and love of place for all of us. It is also important to mention in my own club, Drumgoon Éire, that I'm now Uachtaráin of Cumbernauld Scale from that club. One of our club players, Conor Mina, recently played with DCU in winning a Sigerson Cup medal. He also is captain Cavan under 21 level, and he's also a senior player with the county team. But we should also stress, Conor Mina is a player, or Aogan O'Farrell is an administrator. We're not special, we're not different. We just do a different job to the man who referees, or the woman who looks after the underage camogie, or the person who washes the jerseys. In the GAA, there should be no elites. No group, whether you're president of the GAA, or a fantastic county footballer, or whether you're the man who mows the grass. No group should feel you're the special one, you're the chosen one. There are absolutely no elites in the GAA, and everybody matters, and we will always consider everybody. When Seamus Healy was 70, he invited many of his friends to a party. He didn't write a poem about it, but he delivered a fantastic speech. And at the end of the speech, he told those who had gathered to hear him, we should always keep our feet on the ground, because then there's nobody below you. But always keep your eyes to the higher place. Croke Park works assiduously day in, day out for all of us, working closely with the provincial councils in Connacht and Ulster, Leinster and Munster. That is an important synergy. There's a great working together. If one donkey heads east and one donkey heads west, nobody goes anywhere. But if the two asses pull together, then you have energy. And I want to encourage everybody in the GAA, club, county, member, provincial council, Croke Park. We're all on the same team. We work for Ireland, we work for our youth, we work for our people, pull together, and there is absolutely nothing we cannot achieve. Our provincial councils deliver. Their fibre is well tested. Our provincial championships are strong. There may be areas where people feel that they need tweaking, but the Association and Central Council has spoken on this on many occasions. And I believe that our provincial championship structure is strong, it is attractive, and it brings many people to our games. There are certainly issues about some counties who find it difficult. They play once and then they find the qualifier route is a difficulty for them. That does need to be examined, and we will examine it in our own time, and we'll listen to those counties. And many of those counties I've spoken to, but they tell me they want to play their first game. The Connacht Championship, Ulster Championship, Leinster Championship. But then, if they're beaten in it, they do feel there may be a different route. We'll listen to you, and we'll work with you to see can we achieve a slightly different variation than the qualifier route for those counties. But the solid structure of our provincial championships, the 5 tested, and I believe it will remain. It is important to just mention at this stage our Ard Stewart, because he leads a team of dedicated staff in Cork and Croker, and I believe that unnecessarily and unfairly some commentators have been criticising him personally and have been criticising his excellent work for this association. And I just would say as Earl, we won't tolerate it, we won't stand for it, because facts and truth are very important. The most hard-working, most sincere, most honest sports administrator in the world is Pádraig Duffy. And as we get closer and closer to 2016, some people look back, but it is always important to look back to see where you came from, just in case you get lost. If you walk through the hills of Cavan, you need to look back occasionally, or you'll walk into a bog. But when you look back, you do need then to keep your 2 eyes fixed on the future. So 2016 will be a great year for Ireland to check back on what inspired, what inspired the people who helped the country, but who also helped Cumbernauld Lascale. And it is important to put on record as a cultural organisation. The inspiration for 1916 and the events that surrounded it were a cultural inspiration. An era Gaelic, men and women who had a vision for a cultural Ireland, and that vision remains in the GAA. Our president in 1916 was James Nolan, now well known to all of you as Nolan Park in Kilkenny. And he was very much a cultural nationalist, and it's important during 2016 celebrations that we as an association, working closely with official government bodies, north and south, will cooperate in whatever way we can with events to remember the past, but particularly with watching the future. And if we can help promote our language, our culture, our sense of Irishness, we will do that, and we will do it respectfully to all traditions. And I want... This Congress was very good at looking at our emigrants around the world. The GAA worldwide is growing, not just in the traditional heartlands of Britain and in America, but now, as I said, whether it's in Arabia or in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. The GAA is growing and the GAA family is wide. We have clubs everywhere springing up in Galicia, in Bulgaria and in South Africa. It is important that we value, and I know we do, always our international units. I will chair the International Committee myself. I will ask our Ard Stewart, Pádraig Duffy, to sit alongside me on that committee, because we consider it is important that we show, not just to our international units, but to all of you who are part of the GAA, that we are fast becoming a worldwide body, and that the Irish diaspora matter to us. We do care for them, and I look forward to new and exciting developments. And of course, on Wednesday I will travel over to Abu Dhabi. Imagine my mammy listening to me saying that. Where the hell is Abu Dhabi? Well, sorry mammy, I'll not be gone long, but it is important to acknowledge the tremendous work going on. When Gaels, men and women from around the world will gather in Abu Dhabi, and I want to thank the Middle East Board and everybody involved in coordinating that great event. It will be a hugely significant and a momentous moment for Cumbernauld Lascale, and I hope it returns to Ireland to celebrate in 2016, because the World GAA family does matter. I have a very close friend who lives in Huddersfield in England. His name is Paddy Green, and he's like my mother and father. He's of a similar age. But Paddy left Ireland when he was 14 years of age and he could speak no English. None. As Rana first that you're coming as a Haganche. I was near Dimmershje going Glasgow, near a Focal Berla Urbe. Ach, via long winter Lugefta. Niwan as Dunanal, of winter Conamaran ship. I was Vishin on Lowers as Gael. And he learned his little bit of English bit by bit, and then he ended up in Leeds, and then he went to Huddersfield. But he told me on many occasions, with a tear in his eye, the only reason he stayed in Britain was the GAA. Because it gave him a home from home. He was able to meet friends, Even Malachy Higgins in San Francisco gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning to eat a donut on the corner with Irish friends and to discuss the matches on the day before. Patrick Minor went to school with me and is here as a delegate all the way from Riyadh. And Bernie O'Reilly, a very close friend who people think is my dad, but he's not, from Boston, left Ireland at a tender age and campaigned for the Kennedys right throughout the 1960s, is now an honorary Democrat and always worked hard for the GAA in Ireland. Men and women like that around the world. And could I conclude in again praising worldwide GAA by thanking sincerely Asia GAA and in particular Singapore GAA. A beautiful young girl from Derry, Lisa Orsi, died just yesterday morning following a tragic accident. And I have received, and Corey Duffy has received, and Liam, countless emails from people who said what the GAA in Singapore have done for that family was absolutely incredible. What the GAA does for people when they're in trouble is incredible. Thank you to the GAA in Singapore for what you're doing for a family in tragic circumstances, and to all the GAA that do things in similar circumstances. Go to me with my eyes. And so it's almost time for us to move along, and I want to mention to you that it is important that we always remember in our clubs, counties, 5 very important guiding principles. You need lots of activity. You must have activity. If there isn't activity, then you are not moving forward and you are probably moving in the opposite direction. Lots of games, lots of activity. Number 2, it's important to have efficiency in administration, that everything that's happening in the club is well organised, that it's well run, that you put a good cohort of people involved in our games. And number 3, make sure you have ambition. Do seek the higher gifts. It is important to always try. A small little parish can win in All-Ireland. We're seeing that at the moment. Beautiful little parts of Ireland represented in Croke Park, and the passion that we see. Little counties can win. Leitrim got beaten last year, and we're very close to Leitrim here where we are, in the Connacht Championship. And then they took a severe hiding in the qualifier. And my good friend Dermot Gallagher brought me the Leitrim Observer the following week, and the back page headline was, "We will come again." It is that type of ambition and that type of always looking to improve, always looking to the day ahead. And finally, it's important that we always have financial security in our clubs and in our counties to underpin everything we do. And fun is important. I say it again and again and again. Sport is about fun. Make sure we enjoy ourselves and that we always have, whatever level we're playing at, that the GAA is good fun, we'll be ambitious for the youth of Ireland, that we'll make sure they're well looked after, that the right equipment and the right procedures are put in place for them, but that we will give them fun, we will certify and train everybody who's involved with them. Because you know we do value our volunteers. And this is a time to see a certain handover. That's what happens every 3 years. But this has been an efficient one, and Liam and I have worked closely together, and I hope to bring the vision and passion that he had forward for the next 3 years to ensure that you support and that you enjoy Gaelic games. I would just ask all of you, go home and stick out your chest or your breast or whatever it is, and be proud to be GAA. Be proud that we're all on one road. And do whatever you can to make sure that more people come in together, more people are attracted to our clubs, and that we all celebrate together on many, many occasions. Arish Mawékas the Matlan, the Wheel Commonwealth Nascale, the Muscull, the Mushlov Hain, and the Gatlin, a Honig and Shovenue. The Sulag my 3 blian a Fiúntach rowing. I will hopefully celebrate with many of you. I intend to work tirelessly every day that I can for you and on behalf of you, because at the end of it all, it is about service. Arrive in the Kiela, arrive at Commonwealth Nascale. Go back.
Our fucking square, I was more Derek Currish, while I'm Iraq Draw, Shossi McDonough, and Tauron Lashuta, Akana.
Aogan, Cavan TV, we followed you as you crossed the line on Aogan O'Farrell at Whitegate. Now you've crossed the line as President. Give us your moment.
Well, this is fantastic, and thank you very much, Cavan TV. We're always good to me, and I appreciate what you do for local communities. It is important that we always sustain local communities and that we show support for anyone who tries to help the lot of people and the lives of people. Everybody has a challenge. There's nobody gets life easy, and it's important that the GAA and all local communities work hand in glove with each other in helping as we go along through life. And I hope that the GAA brings something positive to people. I hope that it brings enjoyment, that they get great fun out of being part of our association. So this is a great moment.
You have 3 challenging years and 3 years that's going to bring about a lot of change. You're up for the change?
Well, I'm up for the challenge. I mean, if there's change needed, we'll change. We're certainly brave in the GAA. If change is necessary, it will happen. But most things in the GAA are good, and when things are good, you just sustain them and you keep them going as best you can.
Ron, Aogan O'Farrell, Gurra Mila Mahagat.
Gurra Mila Mahagat Fain.
Just watch you one quick picture here.
Sorry.
Can I jump?
Here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1.
Good, that was quick of me, wasn't it, Ray?
Yes, thank you. You come in here, Pim. Just fill that side there. Now, lads. And you push back and there's a small girl out there. That's it. There's a small girl back. That's it. Now. And you come in here, Pim. You're not as good looking as me. Lads in the back, lean in. Come on. Lean in here. Lean in. Lean in. Lads, lean in at the back. Come on, one time. Squeeze in. Come on, lean in. Are you like old ones? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! And again. 1, 2.
So that's it from All About Sport from the GAA Congress 2015 here at the Slieve Russell Hotel. So it's goodbye from me, Louise O Reilly.